Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris Rimbolt. Today I wanted to make a video about being self-employed. There are a lot of people that are considering it right now. The economy is changing, the world is changing, the way business is done is changing, and the way that you can make money is changing as well. So this is some of the info that I wish I had when I was starting out 5.5 years ago. So the reason for this video is to show you the general important things you need to know for just the first few years of being self-employed. Don't go buy some course from a guru. The information that you need is free. All you have to do is look it up. We live in an amazing time now where a lot of successful people put the things that they know, not just in books, but also on YouTube and in audiobooks and in podcasts as well. So if there's information about something that you need, like becoming self-employed, it's very easy to find. So my self-employed results: I have no commute, I work from home, I set my own schedule, I am in the top 3% of income earners in America, and I live a very happy and fulfilling life. I have an excellent relationship with my wife, great friends, great relationship with my family as well. Now, what people don't see when they see what my life is like now is they don't see the 80-hour weeks that went into the entire first couple of years of starting this. It was a lot more work than what most people are used to putting in. They also didn't see the thousands of hours spent on personal development and mindset training, and the large financial mistakes as well. So there were some major mistakes that I made a couple of years into being self-employed, and the 2 years or so following those mistakes were absolutely difficult. They were just years of being broke, of having a negative account balance every now and then, having a massive overhead of bills and debt, and wondering each month if we were going to make it. So I've been through some hell, and I would say that the hardest part of it probably was just the psychological maze that I had to escape from to just learn how I could save my business. You will find, if you are self-employed, you can certainly relate to this, you are going to be your own worst enemy in being self-employed and working for yourself, and overcoming yourself can be very, very, very difficult. So I'm very glad I did go through this journey. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It has made me a better version of myself. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the reasons why people go self-employed. They want more money, they want more time, some people want more creative choice, and of course, for me, the unlimited growth potential was one of the main reasons I became self-employed. So some things that hold people back from being self-employed: they wonder, will I be able to pay my bills? They, especially for families, they've heard that health insurance is very expensive. It's actually the niche that I'm in, and if that's you that's struggling with it, click the link in the description, but I won't spend this video talking about health insurance. Being uncertain of what to do as a self-employed person. So what do I employ myself doing? And some people have a lot of friends at work that they wouldn't want to leave behind as they start off on their own. So those are some of the reasons why people want to go self-employed and some of the things that hold them back. And I'm not necessarily going to address each of those. I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and if the answer to all these questions is yes, then I would say absolutely you should go self-employed and you should work for yourself. Question number 1: are you willing to work longer hours for less pay for at least a year? People often underestimate how much effort has to go into getting your business off the ground. An analogy I've used many times is that self-employment is a lot like a rocket launch. It's putting out 1,000,000 horsepower and it's going like 3 miles an hour when it leaves the pad, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere fast. but momentum builds up quickly. And eventually, when the rocket is in orbit, it doesn't need really much of anything in the way of power to keep it going. It has momentum. It's caught in its system of orbiting the Earth. That's how self-employment usually goes. So if you're not willing to put in that ridiculous amount of power needed to get the momentum going, you should probably stay at an employer. Question number 2. Do you understand that you'll need to work on your mind and your thinking pretty much every day? Here's the reason for that. Here's why you have to work on your mind, you have to work on your psychology, you have to work on your thinking. The reason is that you cannot get different results in your life with the same level of thinking that you have right now. Your thinking creates your results, and that is something that you will learn in the course of being self-employed. So if you're not willing to work on your thinking, work on your mind, work on your psychology, and work on it regularly, probably every single day, then stay employed. It would probably be best for you because you already are hopefully employed if you're looking at this, and it wouldn't really require you to change your thinking. Question number 3. Can you accept that it will probably take at least 10 years before you make $1 million a year? And this question is especially for the people that want to become self-employed for the money, for the pay, for the possessions. That is one main reason that people want to become self-employed. And it's not a bad one, but as you develop, you will have deeper and deeper reasons for that. But I want you to realize it will probably take 10 years before you're making $1 million a year. It probably will. Most of the time it will. My mentors that are $1 million earners now, it did take them at least 10 years to do that. And finally, are you willing to learn to have heartfelt compassion and love and respect for the humans that you interact with every day? And it doesn't matter if you know them, if they're the same political party as you, if they're the same color as you, if they're the same gender as you, if they're from the same country as you. If you're not willing to have love and respect and compassion for everybody, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be successfully self-employed. It's hard to explain, but your relationship with other humans, whether you know them or not, is going to be extremely important in the matter of being self-employed. So if your answer to all those 4 questions is yes, then let's proceed further with this question of going self-employed. I wanted to give you some secrets as well, some things that I learned through the course of being self-employed for 5.5 years. And these are some things that you won't necessarily find doing research. These are things that I just personally learned myself, and I wanted to share them with you. Number 1, ego reduction is vastly important. If you want to learn to be better at a craft and learn to think differently, you're going to have to take your ego down as far as possible. Particularly if you're in a sales type position, don't just state the benefits of whatever product that you have to sell. Ask questions. If that person that you're talking to who's a potential customer does not need what you have, it is not your job to sell it to them. If they do not want what you have, it is not your job to sell it to them. So ask them questions and see if it's something that they want or need. And if so, tell them why it would be a good fit for them. It's that simple. And this one goes hand in hand with that. Be authentic with people. Don't portray some fake character. Be yourself. It is so much easier to be yourself, number 1. And number 2, you can tell when somebody's not being themselves. And it's really off-putting, isn't it? Everybody else can tell when you're not being yourself. So just be yourself. Be authentic. And here's another one. Your success will be linked very closely with your ability to ignore your emotions. You need to make plans, not reactions. Let me say that again. You need to be able to ignore your emotions so that you can make plans, not reactions. Your emotions are usually wrong. So learn to discount them, learn to stick to a plan and make a plan in a well-informed and level state of mind. Stick to it. Another one, you will make some mistakes, probably big ones. Don't run from them. Analyze them, write them down, and learn from the lessons. So just know, mistakes will be made. You probably won't make super big mistakes, and even in hindsight, the ones that I would describe as big mistakes, they're not that big. They don't necessarily affect me now a few years down the road, but the lessons that I learned from them are permanent. That is the blessing of making mistakes and learning from them, is the consequences aren't permanent, but the lesson, it can be. Just make sure that it is. And we're about halfway through. These are my notes. Here's another one. In 2 years, you'll be a better version of yourself. In 5 years, you'll be such an upgraded version of yourself that you'll be able to help other people that are at where you're at right now. So be encouraged by that. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel a little scared, if you feel excited, if you're worried about everything that you don't know right now, starting out being self-employed, if you take the step, in 2 years, you'll be a much better version of yourself. And in 5 years, you'll be able to help the same person that's in your position right now. So that's a great reason to go out and learn. You can help people in the future. Don't do anything halfway. Allow yourself to become obsessed and enthralled with what you do without caring what the couch commentators in your life have to say about it. So if there's people in your life that, let's be honest, aren't doing really much of anything with their life, then don't let their opinion of what you're doing affect you. Don't let that change your behavior. Let the doers in your life guide what you do. And that goes hand in hand with the last secret that I have written down here. Find people that are ahead of you and learn as much as possible from them. So there is no shortcut to success, with one exception, and that is mentors. If you find someone who is ahead of you in what you're wanting to do and has the life that you want to live, go learn from them as much as they will let you know. That is something that has worked really, really well for me. And you may not have mentors available. And that's okay. You will find them. The world will bring you mentors if you need them, and if you're seeking them, they will appear. But if they're not immediately available, here are some recommendations that I would give you. And even if you do have mentors, I would recommend these things anyway. Here's a few things. One is a couple of TV shows. And I've learned a lot from this one. It's called The Profit, Profit. It's on CNBC. And The Profit is a show where there's a businessman named Marcus Lemonis who will go into a small business, and because he's invited there by the business owner, and he will identify problems with the people, the process, and the product. And he'll make an investment, he'll put in work of his own, and they'll figure out how to fix the problems. And some of the times it will work, and some of the time it will not. And I have learned so much from that. I highly recommend watching every episode. It is available, I believe, on Apple TV. That's where I buy the seasons. They're pretty inexpensive, and they're certainly worth it. Another TV show I would recommend is a show on Netflix called Abstract. That is about some really awesome artists in many different fields, and Abstract has some incredibly inspired people in it. And it's very inspiring to watch and see people that are obsessed with what they do. Some books, and these are, by the way, excellent as audiobooks or paper books. I went through them in the form of audiobooks. First, to get an idea of the context of different kinds of income and how to master the different types of income, because there are many different types of income, I would recommend the book Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. That is Cashflow Quadrant. And for a book that is phenomenal for if you're just starting out and you really need that kick of motivation, you need that crazy obsessed voice in your ear. I went through this book 6 times while becoming self-employed. It's a book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. It's by Grant Cardone, and that will give you the necessary startup fuel to get your mind into the state that it really needs to be in for you to launch your business. And finally, as far as books go, The Power of Now. The Power of Now is a phenomenal book. It's difficult to describe, but it is amazing for understanding yourself and for finding much needed mental peace that will be so important for you as you go through the emotional ups and downs of self-employment. That is The Power of Now. It's by an author called Eckhart Tolle. And there's another one that's on YouTube and Audible. I would recommend probably the YouTube one because it is a video. It is called You Were Born Rich. It's by Bob Proctor. And it's from, I think, the 80s, and it's about 16 hours long, but I have learned so much about how my attitude controls my life and my income from that series. I've gone through it 3 times. Highly recommend it. Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Now, I will leave you with this thought. Your subconscious and conscious thoughts become your reality. So, feed your mind with positivity, with abundance, and with gratefulness every single day. Fill your mind with those things, and your results will improve. That's the single biggest piece of advice I can give you, whether you're going self-employed or just want to improve your life in some way. Your thoughts become your experience. Subconscious thoughts and conscious thoughts. Self-talk and just background paradigms. They become your reality. So fill your mind with positivity, abundance, and gratefulness, and you will see things change, and often quite rapidly. It can be amazing. But thank you for watching. I hope this helps some people that are thinking about going self-employed. I'm Chris Rimble. Leave me a comment with your questions, and please thumbs up and subscribe. It helps this video reach more people and help more people. I love you all. Have a great day.